Hey, what's up, y'all? I know it's been a lot of information that I've been putting out, and maybe y'all don't even want to inherit. And I understand. Look, this election, it took a lot out of all of us. It, it showed the worst out of all of us. And it's not getting any better. Let me go ahead and relate to one of the things, the major topics, the economy. Truth. And truthfully, I was thinking that a lot of us would have already seen this. But the economy is not really on Biden. The economy really is on the people that has control over how much they charge us for the products that we buy. Case in point, Uber Eats, Grubhub, shit, even Walmart deliveries. Those delivery fees have been jacked up crazy. It's the holiday season coming up, and all of us are looking for those Black Friday deals. The video games. Let me tell you, those video games right now, brand new video game, it's like $70 or $80. And if you want all the bells and whistles, you're looking at well over $100 for a video game. For what? Truth. In the video games, the reason why the video game market is pushing to an all digital platform is because as an all digital platform, you do not purchase video games. You're paying $70 or $80 for the right to play that video game. And if, for whatever reason, they lose the rights to, say, like for the car driving games, Ford and other manufacturers, they actually have to pay them to use their names or to use the likeness of their vehicles. And every so many years, they have to re-up or renegotiate those rights, those contracts. So the moment that the video game publisher, which a lot of video game publishers are going under, then the rights for that video game goes under as well. That video game is gone. So that 70, 80, 100, 110, $120 that you paid for that video game is worthless. Even if you go out and buy the CD. Right now, the CD is nothing but a key. It's a download. The video games aren't even on the CDs anymore. And they're the same price. The tariffs. Truth. China is one of the biggest producers of microchips. Truth. Right now, there are two biggest microchip makers right now in the world. That's Intel, which is the American, AMD, China. Right now, as far as gaming, AMD is ruling the industry right now. As far as gaming, AMD's better performance for what it is versus the American competitor at Intel, and it's cheaper. So, all that to say this, remember that $70, $80, $90, $100, $110, $120 video game? Well, right now, that goes for those PS4, I'm old. The PS5s, the Xbox Series X, the Xbox Series S's. And right now, they just came with refreshes. The PS5 Pro is basically, $700-800. And it doesn't even come with the Pro controller. That controller is $200. The same with the Xbox. They just came out with the brand new Xboxes, and those are racking up about $600-800. Guess what microchips that they're using? I promise you, it's probably not going to be an American microchip. It's going to be a microchip that's going to be exported from overseas. Guess what? Those PlayStation 5s, that's a Japanese company. So all of these tariffs is going to make those products even that much more expensive. So one, already, if we step away from what is happening in our four walls and actually venture outside to ask our neighbors, hey, what you got going on over there across the street, across the pond? then we will know that there are already maneuverings being made by these big corporations to offset the cost where their bottom line is not affected. And once Donald Trump gets into office and these tariffs go into effect, that is not going to do anything but drive the cost back to us, because they're already going to be used to the added cost that they're passing on to us already in preparation for what is happening. Right now, it's not about a matter of what if anymore. It's about what's next. And there's just look for yourselves. If there's one thing that cannot be denied, social media influencers, Elon Musk and Donald Trump won this election. It wasn't about watching the news anymore and actually seeing, hey, that's a good point, that's a bad point. No, it was about you incompetent and not giving a reason as to why. While in plain sight, you're telling us everything that you're going to do. Understand the players right now and what's happening. I go on record and say it. It's all about land and money. BRICS, Brazil, Russia, I can't even think what the I is, China, South Africa, India, BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. Brazil's a distraction. Russia, this is Vladimir Putin's brainchild. India, they're another big major producers in technology, believe it or not. Microchips is good in India. Cell phones are good in India. China, I've already broke down what China's trying to do. South Africa is a safety net for Elon. Elon is from South Africa. Right now, Elon, with $100 million that he gave to the election, is raking in $15 billion in Department of Defense contracts. Elon owns the Department of Defense. Elon owns the nuclear football and the nuclear codes. Elon owns the ear of the President of the United States of America. Facts. Hey guys, we are not what they are portraying. That is not the soul of America. America was built on the backs of immigrants. Some of us by force and others by choice. Understand where the poison is coming from. And they're flying under the flags and the mantles that have been flying since 1775 with the American Revolution, when we rose up against the tyranny, the actual flag that represented rebellion, which was then adopted and perverted by the Ku Klux Klan and other Southern sympathizers when they lost the Civil War. A perversion of which they still ring in and they still represent. A perversion that showed its rear head as recent as these protests and saying hang Mike Pence on January the 6th. The same symbol as the same individuals was ringing out their mantras at Charlottesville, Virginia, when individuals were getting run over by cars. The same tactics that they did during the marches during the Martin Luther King era for civil rights. Look, understand what our history is. My great-grandmother was a slave. My grandmother was the daughter of a slave. Let me put it in context and perspective. I am the descendant, very close descendant of a slave. Her daughter, my grandmother, was raised in the period of Jim Crow, was raised in a period where white men dressed in hoods would terrorize the neighborhoods under a mantle of we taking our country back. These same white men that got exposed then just revamped the game. During my mother's time, these white men now are in office. Separate but equal. Remember that one? Whites only. Yo, that's my mother. Myself, grown up in the 90s during the mass incarceration of black men for petty crimes and offenses. Racial profiling, where Donald J. Trump showed his head as he used his position and influence and power to destroy the lives of 5 minority men as they spent their childhood in prison for a crime in which they did not commit, and he has not yet apologized for that offense. The writing's on the wall, people. These white supremacists gets America. While America's divided and too busy fighting amongst ourselves, the American dollar is demonetized. And the new world currency is the BRICS currency. BRICS currency. Google it. Now, what does that mean for everybody else? Russia gets Ukraine, and they don't have to worry about any more American interference. China gets Taiwan, another leader in technological advancements. And of course, Elon, he knows that all of his money is safe in an account that he probably got in South Africa, because South Africa is where he's from. And if he doesn't have an account in South Africa, then he's stupid, because he's an immigrant. And at any point, he can get deported, especially for the dumb shit he's doing. $130 million for an election. That got him $15 billion in military Department of Defense contracts and the ear to the President of the United States. Access and influence. Direct access and influence to the person that holds the nuclear football and the nuke codes. It's not about what if anymore. It's about what's next. And what's next? These prices are about to go up even higher. Because the real evil entities, greedy entities that is in control of how much we pay for the products we buy is loving the fact that they're draining us dry. And Trump's not alone in this one. This one right here is for the CEOs, the other donors. the one that actually had a stake in Trump being elected, because Trump was giving him the money as well, while we feeding it to them. Think about it, y'all.